Getting one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
It's a new life, but I'm going to make it better. Coming back. Ask your doctor, check your blood pressure.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Gary LaVox from Rascal Flatts. You know, music has always been a huge part of my life. It's something that I started pursuing as a kid and never gave up on. It took a lot of hard work and dedication, but it paid off. Music has allowed me to travel around the world and to meet a lot of interesting people. So don't let anybody tell you that your dreams aren't possible, because they are. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
WGSX Lynn Hayden, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of Sports Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now, we're taking...
For the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida. They get wanted, jump hot, they all over. Back then they get wanted, jump hot, they all over. Back then they get wanted, jump hot, they all over. Back then they get
And it is a beautiful Friday morning here. A little chilly, but not as chilly as the last two mornings. It didn't dip below 50. It's going to be an absolutely spectacular weekend to be outside, and hopefully you join us for some golf out there at Bay Point Golf Club. Big day out there today. Lots of people in town. Lots of people playing golf on our beautiful, great shape golf course right now. We've got a big sale coming up in not this weekend, but hard to believe the 11th is next weekend. That is insane. Our Veterans Day sale, we're going to do 20% off all golf shop merchandise right there in the shop, and we've got a full, beautiful shop. Lots of outdoor cool weather gear, hoodies, pullovers, quarter zips, whatever it may be. We've got it. We just got a bunch of new beanies in as well. All that's going to be 20% off, and if you spend $200 in pre-tax merchandise, you'll get a free round of golf. And as David's brother knows, he got 3 free rounds of golf just from buying a new Stealth driver, Stealth 2 Plus driver.
Yeah, got the plus, man. That thing is beautiful too. You know, it's got that black and red finish to it. The shaft went along perfect with it, and man, one of my favorite things about the club, which I guess maybe it's just paying attention to detail, but the head cover.
Yeah, the head covers are pretty sweet, and that's one of the cool things, too. There's a lot of custom head covers out there, especially on putters, that make them really cool. But you are listening to The Inside Drive, and I guess he's teaching, so he'll be here in a little bit. It's not like we don't do that. It's been a weird week with Jay. He was out half the day on Tuesday. Last week he was gone on Tuesday, but yesterday he had his dog. I wonder if he's going to bring his dog today.
Ooh, Sailor. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she did a good job. She was, and it wasn't her that we know of that knocked us off being able to hear our guest there in that last segment. But we appreciate you listening on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. All 3 places you can listen to us and watch us streaming on Facebook, X, as well as YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida to find those out. And then, as always, you can download that free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. That one you do have to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And, of course, ESPNPC.com. Click that Listen Live button. Click on the little TV buttons, and it'll take you to FHS TV, where you can download that, or you can stream over 4,000 channels for just $42 a month. Mosley Dolphins' regular season came to an end last night up there in Choctaw. Unfortunately, did not come out on the winning side. Tough game there. 7-0 at halftime, ended up finishing 35-0. Our very own David Hayes was on the call with Kyle Wright. David, what do you think about that game last night? Give us a little recap of what happened for those that weren't able to listen.
I think we just need to go back to the call that we had from Sean yesterday and just replay that.
Yeah. Except the one word.
What's that? There was one little slip up there, but no. End of the day, first off, I like that stadium though. It was cool, and we were calling over there from the.
Were you inside or were you outside?
No, outside.
Nice.
So this year we've had 4 road games. Leon, we did the press box, but outside of that, I think that it's really cool to be over there with the Mosley side of things.
Absolutely.
And
That's how it should be.
it would be different if it was just
you
like
guys
me
hanging out, nobody.
and Kyle, and then like 20 people or something. But it's like always over 100 people.
That's
you know what I
awesome.
mean? And they do a great job of traveling, and it's a lot of fun. And we posted that video last week of us up in the booth, and there was like now people are starting to kind of realize who we are or whatever, and they saying we appreciate it and stuff like that, which is really cool. It's all about the kids first and foremost. But it is kind of nice having the mic and getting it on the crowd. So, but the game last night, Cole Tabb's legit. 5'8", 190 pounds. That kid is lightning fast.
5 touchdowns?
35-0.
All 5 touchdowns were his.
4 of them via the ground, I believe. 1 of them on a 70-yard receiving pass, which might have been caught as a backwards pass anyway, so it might have been a rush, depending on how you want to put that in the stat sheet. But it was really tough going for the Mosley offense last night. Choctaw, didn't matter if it was a zone read, if Sammy was keeping it, they were kind of all over him. There was a couple of issues. Now, early in the game, momentum swings. I'll say this. You can talk about the refs all you want till you're blue in the face, but 35-0 ain't really going to change that. But like Travis Peterson, what he pointed to the other day when talking about that Florida-Georgia game, how some of those things, how a simple flag or whatever can change that momentum. There was a call early in the game where Mosley lines up to do the brotherly shove, what we like to call the bottleноser, and they get the first down, and they call illegal help. So I got to go back and check the rule book. We get so used to, me and Kyle, we watch so much football on Saturday and the rest of the
rules
week.
are different between every level.
Right, exactly. A big difference in college football and the NFL. So, those discrepancies, like in high school football, when there's pass interference, it's not an automatic first down. It's 15 yards. So if
it gets you to
then it's a first down. But if not, then and I think at one point I was my mic had like started becoming static ears or whatever, so I had to fix that. So I tossed it over to Kyle, and in that play there was a penalty, and I guess they called it a face mask, but they only moved it up 5 yards. So maybe in high school you remember back in the day, there's the incidental face mask
versus
exactly. So maybe there's that. I got to do a little bit more studying. Forgive me. It's we're 2 years full into the books. We got playoffs coming up, but
that makes sense why it's not an automatic first down either, because your talent level is so much different in high school. So you're going to have plays where you screw up more, I guess, for lack of a better term. So being an automatic first down every time is I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but the thing is Mosley fought till the final. They fought till the clock hit 0. So it was good to see that. Cam Keys having an interception, probably, I think Coach Wooden would agree, maybe his best game of the year. Maybe that's because he's in the stat sheet with an interception now, but he was really kind of locking it down. And kudos to Choctaw, too, for playing a great brand of football.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be playing Buckholz next Friday. Buchholz. Sorry. It looked like Buck, but no, there's an H. That's on the road, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. Is that official? Because I don't think until Sunday they're actually released.
It's got it on Max Preps, which doesn't mean it's official. It just means somebody went in there and had
Well, that's what Leanne was saying yesterday. So more than likely I would, so I think that's where we're going to be headed then.
Whew, that's going to be a tough one. They're 9-0 on the season. Are they the number 1 in the district?
Yeah, they'll be the number 1 seed. So
all right, that makes sense.
It'll be tough, but here's the thing, man. Especially with this Mosley team, and really I'll say this for the rest of the teams in Bay County, very young in the most important parts of the field where it comes. What I mean by that is the trenches, offensive and defensive line. You got Sam Fried is coming back. I mean, really, you're going to be losing a 4-star cornerback in Cam Keys. You're going to be missing some other guys who are crucial. Your special teams is going to go through a makeover because Cole McLean and Josh Harris are now out. So they're seniors, so they'll be moving on. So it's going to be interesting, but you got to play this game like it's game 1 of next season. Yeah. Like it has something to do with game 1 of next season.
It 100% does, because it's going to, how you play in this game, regardless of the outcome, will kind of give you momentum going, especially like you said, because they're so young. It's going to give you momentum going into the next season, even though it's a long way away. But I guess they're over there in Gainesville, huh? Gainesville, Florida. Yep, there you go. So they'll be playing that one. We got a couple other big high school games coming up tonight, our last regular season night here in Bay County. You've got Arnold traveling over there to play North Bay Haven. Arnold's trying to get the first one on the season. North Bay Haven is 4-5, trying to make it 500 in the regular season. Then you got Bay and at Port St. Joe, those Tiger Sharks down there. You can listen always in Port St. Joe to ESPN Northwest Florida 101.9. And Bay High's 4-5, Port St. Joe 5-4. Going to see who gets either both 5-5 or somebody sneaks that out. Bozeman trying to make it 10-0 on the season. Pretty impressive there. Almost an opportunity for a Bay County team to go 10-0. And I heard the guys this morning, and I think the last time that happened was Coach Hale's Arnold Marlins when they went 10-0 back in 01 or 02, something like that. Anyway, Rutherford trying to keep that little momentum that they have going. They're 2-7 on the season and lost a close one last week, I believe, over there to Bay High. And then South Walton's going to take on Mariana. South Walton 6-3. Mariana is 5-4. So a lot of big high school games coming up tonight as well. So get out there. It's going to be a beautiful. How was it? Just beautiful night for football last night?
Oh, 100%, man. You know, I had the hoodie on
I got a little
and everything, so it did get a little cold. There was one point that I was able to, kind of in that dead time of when it started to become a blowout, talk about the lack of heating in my truck because my toes started to feel that way a little bit.
Yep, there you go.
But yeah, man, it was good, and we did get a little hot chocolate, so that was nice. Yeah, but yeah, as far as man, you know how it is, like on the football field. Yeah, I'm sure that those guys were feeling rather comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to give a shout out to the University Academy because, it's my show, so I'm going to talk about where my kids go to school. And that's the University Academy girls basketball team won their first regular season game yesterday afternoon against Merritt Brown. They won that one 43-6. A little bit of a football score there, but UA 43-6, yes. And coach was trying to sit back a little bit, not run it up, but it's just that's how it happens sometimes. But they look good. Ryan got a bunch of playing time, so she had a lot of fun running that second player point guard, and she got a couple free throws and got a couple shots up there. But it's fun watching them. They look good. They look good. It was my first middle school basketball game that I've attended. So
I think first game of the season, there's no such thing as running up the score.
Because you got a lot to figure out. Exactly. And he subbed out a lot of players, and they just played
the right way. Yeah, exactly. Don't leave your starters.
He didn't leave the.
Man, I really think maybe high school is when that kind of starts. It's about a common respect for the opponent, but at the end of the day, we are playing a game, and we don't want to teach our guys or our young ladies to let off the gas. What happens when we let off the gas in any facets of life?
Usually something catches back up to you and it doesn't go the direction you want it to go.
Correctamundo, sir.
Correctamundo indeed. Also shout out to the University Academy boys soccer team who won their game yesterday 4-0. That was their first game at the season. They get to play over there at the public sports park. So
let me correct you real quick. It is your show 4-0.
Sorry, 4-0 on the pitch. 4-0 on the pitch. 4-0 on the pitch. But yeah, kudos to both of those teams. There might be an Eagle costume coming in the mail sometime soon for said Mr. Liam. And because they do a good job. They've got cheerleaders, they got the pep club, all that stuff. So we talked to Coach Sam out there. He's one of the gym coaches there, and he's in charge of the pep club. And we said, hey, if we buy an Eagle costume, he got free reign to come to this stuff and make some stuff happen. So we got the green light there, and
he's gonna be a good Eagle.
Oh, he's gonna be fantastic. There was Merritt Brown had a couple bears yesterday.
Yeah,
and I said it would have been perfect because you guys could have like a little dance off, and he's gonna embrace that role. He lives for that.
Dude. So yeah, he's also demonstrative with his expression.
Oh, 100%. It's gonna be epic. Hey, Jay.
Good morning.
Well, we got to turn on your mic first. Yeah, give us another one.
Good morning.
There you are.
I figured he was going to be coming in and getting ready. Yeah, so I turned his mic down.
There you go. The first good morning, though, was a lot more energetic.
Good morning.
There you go.
Yeah.
One more time.
Good morning.
You do it different every time.
I do.
There you go.
Yeah,
How's your
because he's
lesson?
been talking to Joanna so much, he's like, the monotony is
like-
killing me.
When somebody's that monotonous in their speech, do you have a tendency to talk back monotonously? Is that a word? Probably not. Or do you try to give more inflection and enthusiasm because said Joanna is so monotonous?
Yeah, Joanna's just so monotonous, and that's why I had to break up with her. So,
Yeah, personality matters, right?
It was, yeah, no doubt.
I hear that.
Rumors are swirling on some of those weather reports that it was her that broke up with you. Via text at that.
Oh, via text. Man.
I hear she's dating the weatherman out in San Diego. So I don't
Brick? Had a lesson.
I did, yeah. It's been a crazy morning. Good morning, but crazy morning.
Good.
But, yeah,
A
man.
good, crazy morning?
Yeah, good crazy morning.
How's Sailor?
Mine's been a crazy
Sailor's
good
good.
morning.
Sailor took a trip up to Southport this
Oh, okay.
morning. Too much going on. I don't want to leave, a little 8-week-old golden
Yeah, by
retriever
yourself
in
so
a,
much,
in
yeah.
a crate,
Yeah.
and for more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
and that's what they say. So
Who's they?
Just
They?
AI,
AI.
artificial intelligence.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. You don't want to leave AI in a crate for 2 hours either. It'll turn into the Will Smith movie, I, Robot. And then we'll get scared. You ever watch that movie?
Oh yeah, man, the freakiest
Foreshadowing.
part. I know when all those robots are in that warehouse, and then he's trying to find that one, and like the bad robot like peeks around the corner, and I'm like, that's like the intense part. It's like, go get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is, if that does happen, I don't think you and me are going to be Will Smithing it like that movie was. So we don't have to worry about that. We'll just get captured by the robots.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you just teach all the robots golf.
We already have a vacuum cleaner robot. Already.
The vacuum cleaner robot's been around for a long time.
The Roomba.
The Roomba by
Roomba.
iRobot. We bought one time. It was a knockoff one. It was called a Bob. It did good for a little while, but there was a reason why it was a knockoff one.
Right.
Bob didn't quite get the when you go into something, you turn the direction. So about 3 or 4 months into Bob, he's just like, boop, boop, boop.
3 o'clock.
And then you'd have to pick him up and move him. I was like, this kind of defeats the purpose. We'll just get a regular vacuum.
You get what you pay for, I guess.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
We're talking a little bit. Did you hear us on the way in?
I did, yeah. So Mosley had a little bit of
a tough go last night up against a good Choctaw team, and but they're in the playoffs. And their destiny is in their own hands.
How was the officials last night there, David? I mean, any?
You can't ask the play-by-play about the officials.
Oh, okay.
But he said they sucked.
I got it.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'll just say refer back to the call yesterday from Sean. But the biggest thing here is that you can throw you cannot blame officiating on a 35-0 loss.
Yeah, 14-13.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A touchdown, something like that. But end of the day, Choctaw's a really good team. I'll say this, though, and I think I said it on the broadcast last night, because there are some calls that I'm just like, what? You know what I mean? What's going on here? The game of football is meant to be played. And it feels like sometimes, and I get these referees have to call the game the correct way and stuff. It feels like sometimes they are throwing flags, like the amount of flags that they're going to throw, like the amount of flags gets them closer to the next level. And it's one of those things like in high school football, man, someone needs to be drugged down for pass interference. Like it needs to be noticeable. And again, I go back to all levels of officiating. Where is the flag? Not why is that a flag? If we're asking that, then that's okay. If you're a ref, right? If you're officiating and the whole time you're just kind of letting the guys play and it's on both sides, you're still on the other side of that fence. You're still going to get reamed no matter what you do. You could call the game perfectly.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, and so I know that's tough for officials, and I want to preface this by saying, even though I've already kind of started in, these guys, we've got to appreciate what
we
they
wouldn't have
do.
sports without them.
Exactly.
There's no doubt.
So that's the other thing. But it is one of those things that I just wish that they would let them play the game and call it how you need to, but false starts, encroachment, pass interference needs to be egregious, holding needs to be egregious. You know what I'm saying?
I think offensive holding needs to go to a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah.
In every level of football.
That's fair.
It's just so brutally penalizing.
There's holding on every
Absolutely.
single play. So when you've got holding and the ball's being ran to the left side and they're over there outside the numbers holding, that had nothing to do with the play.
Absolutely.
So, don't call that. And here's the other thing. Can we get off of, I see a little bit of jersey in his hands. Now, maybe defensive holding from the sense of, all right, if a guy's getting past me and I'm tugging on his jersey and it looks like he's got coattails now, then yes, that's defensive holding, you know? But when you're on the offensive line and you get a little bit of jersey, that's why I think that it shouldn't be, like, let's do away with offensive holding to an extent unless it's outside the numbers and a wide receiver's got a cornerback.
And that clearly is impacting the play. Absolutely.
But on the offensive line, let's not call it holding anymore. Let's call it tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if someone is engaged and then they try to get away and you see jersey tugged, all right. But if we're sitting here and we're in the trenches and I got you by your jersey or whatever, then I don't know, man, because guess what? How do you defend that? Swim moves.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can smack them in the head anymore, but you know what I mean? You have techniques that you can use, and that's what defensive ends and good defensive tackles utilize. So instead of the penalties being where we're going to win the game and whatnot, let's use our fundamentals of the game and our techniques to win football games. And it's hard for these coaches to be able to get the guys to be able to do that when it's flag.
It just kills the momentum of the game, too.
Yeah, and then the squeaky wheel gets the grease on all the coaches still, even to this day, I'm sure, right? I mean,
I get accused of that all the time in youth sports. It's like, they called the penalty because you were yelling about it.
I was at one of those
they called the
games.
penalty because it was a penalty.
Last night, okay.
Sorry.
There was
It flicked a nerve.
Yeah. But there was a call last night. I don't remember if it was going to be roughing the passer or what it was, but there was a call that should have went in Mosley's favor. Coach Tommy Joe Whidden starts, and they flag him for 15 yards.
Oh.
And it's like, he's standing up for his guy right now.
Was he on the field or from the sideline?
It was from the sideline.
No warning or anything, just flag?
I think they had already had a sideline warning.
Okay.
So there is that, but I don't know, man. Like I can only feel for Coach in that sense because, dude, you're the shepherd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're making sure that your sheep ain't getting
you got to defend your flock.
trampled upon.
That's right. That's right. One more quick comment, then we got to take a break. The two refs at the middle school basketball game last night, one is obviously had been reffing. The other guy was like literally brand new. He was learning as he was reffing. He did an okay job.
Yeah.
That's where you got to start at, though.
Yeah. And that level's probably an appropriate level to start at too. But there was a lot of double dribbles, a lot of moving screens. This one girl just moved all the way down with Ryan screening her on defense. But it was at the end of the game, and the score was lopsided.
Hey, there was no holding.
No.
Are you a vocal parent as much as you are a vocal coach? Or?
I try when I'm on the sidelines as a parent to tone it down.
I got you.
Because I understand it's not my responsibility at that point.
Right.
That's why you have a coach.
Yeah.
But I don't always do good at that, but I do a lot better than when I'm coaching. It's more like it's like part of it.
Yeah.
But
And it's almost like because you have the knowledge of that or whatever, you to some extent are the example.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. When we get back, we'll be joined by Keith Fleming.
Oh.
We got a quick segment with him today. Yes, Keith, he's calling you. We ran just a little bit long. He's going to
go ahead
over.
and call. Save me some time.
Yeah,
Keith.
go ahead, Keith. Call us. I don't know if you can hear me, if he's listening or not, but he's going to go over some of the DFS action for this weekend coming up. There's a lot of injuries, a lot of quarterbacks out, a lot of players out, so that waiver wire is a very important thing, as it always is this time of year in fantasy football. You're listening to Inside Drive. Jay's back with us. We'll be right back.
Your home for the NFL. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Sunday, it's an NFL quadruple header. First, Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs live from Germany. Kickoff at 8:30. Then, Rams at Packers. Kickoff at noon. Followed by Giants and Raiders. Then, Sunday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals at 6:30. Right here on your home for the most live NFL on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the northeast at 14 miles per hour and temps near 73. We will have clear skies and a wind speed of 7 miles per hour tonight and be warm at 56. And sunny tomorrow and a high 77 with a gentle breeze. sunshine Sunday with a temp of 75. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's alive! Look alive! We're alive!
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive. We appreciate you tuning in with us, however you're listening or watching. And we're excited now. We missed him on Wednesday. It's that time of year. There's a lot of crap going around, and I think Mr. Fleming was a little under the weather, but we've got him here for a quick segment on Friday. Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I really was sick. Don't believe what my wife is saying, that I didn't show up because she beat me in the ESPN Northwest Florida Fantasy League.
Where is that? Where can I find said information?
Moved ahead of me in the standings in the process. So, yeah, she definitely made sure that I knew that I lost to her this week.
Yep.
So congrats to my beautiful wife.
There you go. Hey, if there's one person to lose to, your wife's fair, because you're always going to lose to your wife.
A lot better than losing to Jay, that's for sure.
Hey, yeah, it is for sure. It is for sure.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, let's a lot of stuff going on this week. A lot of injuries, a lot of first-time starting quarterbacks. And if you're betting a lot of these games on a betting standpoint, the under, I think, will continue to be prevalent, that's for sure. But yeah, talk about some of probably your official lineup for this week, and then maybe some folks on the waiver wires that you've had your eyes on.
Sure. Just real quickly, last week of the 15 plays I gave on the show, they included Dak, who was QB number 3, Breece Hall, who was running back number 7, A.J. Brown, who was wide receiver number 3, Jake Ferguson, who was tight end number 9, and again, the value plays is what I really like giving. And Ferguson was 3,700. He scored 14.7 points. Downs was 4,800. He scored 14.2. And Kendrick Bourne was 4,700 and scored 12.6. And if you can get those kind of guys in your lineup and then get the right high-priced guys who have the ability to score, we know, huge amounts of points, you can have good weeks. But this week I'm just going to go through my favorite plays, period. But I do want to start with the guy who's number 1 and say you were just talking about waiver wire ads. If Demario Douglas is out there for the New England Patriots, you should go pick him up immediately. He's 4,000 versus Washington. He's going to be in every one of my lineups this week. Kendrick Bourne, who was New England's number 1 wide receiver, he is now done for the year. He's on IR. That makes Douglas the number 1 receiver. You could argue he already was from a talent perspective. Just in the last 2 weeks, even kind of before that Bourne injury in the second half, they've been ramping up his usage. He saw 13 targets, caught 9 passes. He led all New England wide receivers in snap count last week. And his metrics are really good this year. Among wide receivers, he's 19th in target rate, 11th in target separation, 23rd in average cushion. And it's just a perfect storm of a guy that's, we know, going to get a high usage versus a defense that has been awful this year versus the past.
You looking for him, Jay? Sorry, Keith. Are you looking for this guy?
What's his name again?
I hope not. Demario Douglas. That's the last thing I knew.
You know, you can go to the search thing where that little magnifying glass is and type in the name, and then it populates. You don't have to search through all the people in the scroll. I saw you scrolling aggressively with your thumb.
He should be at the top of your wide receivers if he's available.
I was going to say, if he's available.
Oh, and you can also filter it, Jay, by clicking on the WR. That means wide receiver.
Or the percentage added is always what I like to look, see what other people are doing. But, again, Washington, they're 31st on DK versus wide receivers. There's only 32 teams in the league, so that's not good. Number one wide receivers versus them, just in their last 6 games. This is just number one receivers. 44 receptions. 5 of 6 of those games, the number one receiver caught 8 or more passes. In those 6 games, they're averaging 141 yards per game and have scored 7 touchdowns. And a reminder that Washington traded away both of their best pass rushers, which this defense was really bad. And that was with them getting consistent pressure from Chase Young and Montez Sweat. That's going to only make it easier to throw on them. I like, by the way, the over in this game. I think it's going to be a sneaky shootout. I think Mac Jones is going to do well. I think Sam Howell's going to do well. But Demario Douglas should be added, and he should be in all your DK lineups. The second guy this week is Jonathan Taylor, 6,400. It's really not that complicated.
Oh, no. It's the old Keith Fleming. Keith, if you could still hear us, it happened again.
Oh, my God.
It just went dark. I don't know what the deal is. Oh, he gone. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
This is it. He probably feels like we're singling him out, but we're certainly not. Keith, you back on?
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is. You're the only guest that this happens to.
It's me. It's got to be me.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to take real responsibility.
Yeah, you got to take ownership. Somebody wrote a song about that. She might be dating Travis Kelce. I don't know. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry, I can just keep going.
Is he gone again?
I hope not. No, he's still there. He's still there. You're going in and out.
In every game this season. Sorry, could you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. In 14 rushing touchdowns, they're allowing 4.7 yards per carry on the season. 5 running backs have finished top 5 on DK when facing them this season. And Jonathan Taylor's snap and route participation is on the way up the last 4 weeks since he's came back. First week it was 15% snap share, 3% route participation. Last week it was 60% and 53% route participation. It's been the inverse for Zach Moss, who only saw 36% and 25%. In the last 2 games, Taylor has 7 red zone carries, 217 total yards. He only had 14 carries those first 2 games. He's had 30 the last 2 weeks. He's 6th in yards per touch and facing a Panthers defense that can't stop anybody. You should definitely have him in your lineups. Next, in the homer corner, give me Bijan Robinson, 6,100 versus Minnesota. He's reached a price where I really like his value. You know, he scored 12 points or more in every game except for the fiasco in Tampa and Headache Gate or whatever that was. But the reason I like him so much is the passing game. He's averaging 5.28 targets per, over 4 receptions. We know the Falcons made a quarterback change. Taylor Heineke's coming in. Drake London does not look like he's going to be playing this year. And because your boy's a stat nerd, I went back and looked at all of Taylor Heineke's 259 passes last year. 64 of them went to running backs. That's nearly a fourth of them, 24.3%. Bijan saw 4 of his 5 targets last week in the second half after Heinicke was in as the starter. Overall, 5 of Heineke's 21 passes went to backs, right around that number, 23.8%. No London. I expect Bijan to have a minimum 5-6 receptions. Again, that's free points on DraftKings. I think he's going to have a really big game. And I think the offense is going to be better, which should help Bijan, as we saw he got a rushing touchdown last week. The fourth guy this week, Nico Collins, 5,800 versus Tampa. You know, data's data, right? I think we've talked about this before. He's a different player at home than he is away. Away games this year, 8.3 points per game on DK in 4 games. Home games, 27.1 points per. Tampa Bay is 24th versus opposing wide receivers on DK. And again, this is just versus number 1 receivers on the season. They have 52 receptions at 7.4 per, 686 yards. That's 98 yards per receiving. And 4 number 1 receivers have finished top 5 for that week on DraftKings facing Tampa. Tampa runs a very similar amount of zone defense and gets a very similar pressure rate to Indy, who Collins had his second-best game of the year earlier this year against, at home where he scored 30 points. Fifth, I hate this that I'm including it, guys, but I got to. Taysom Hill, 4,700 versus Chicago. I can't stand the Saints. I don't like what Taysom Hill does for, like, daily fantasy and fantasy. But the fact is, he is a very safe play right now at the tight end position. He scored 12.3 points or more in 3 straight, averaging over 17 points per game in that span. That will be second among tight ends on DK for those 3 weeks. Then is sixth, and third the last 3 weeks among tight ends. And it's all because now he is also involved in the passing game. In the last 3 games, we've seen 70% of his targets, 75% of his receptions, and still seen 15 rushing attempts. We know he'll get that occasional goal line carry like he did last week from the one, stealing from Alvin Kamara. And Chicago's just an awful defense. Another tight end I like this week is Cade Otton, 3K versus Houston. 12 targets, 9 receptions the last 2 weeks. He's seen 4 more targets in 4 of his last 6. Among tight ends, he's number 1 in snap share, 7th in routes run, 4th in route percentage. And the Texans give up almost 9 targets and 7 receptions per game to tight ends. I think you can get a lot of value there. The QB position, which I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I've not been great at the QB. Dak was the only bright spot last week. There's 2 guys I like this week. The first one is Bryce Young. Through the first 4 weeks, he was really bad. Only 2 touchdowns, averaging just over 10 points per game. Since then, he is really starting to show some promise that we thought he should. He's the number 1 pick. 5 touchdowns, nearly 16 points per game. Again, Indy awful versus opposing QBs on DK. This is despite a fairly list of easy QBs on their schedule. They have played this year Ryan Tannehill, P.J. Walker, Carr, Matthew Stafford without Cooper Kupp, C.J. Stroud in his second start as an NFL quarterback, and yet they're still 29th versus opposing quarterbacks. And I said how much I like Jonathan Taylor. I also like Zach Moss this week. So I think that the Panthers are going to have to throw because then he's going to run all over them, and Young at 5,100 is a value. My favorite QB play this week, though, is Dak Prescott, 6,500 at Philly. He scored 57 points on DK the last 2 weeks. He only scored 57.9 his first 4 games this season. I think Dak gets more unfair criticism than just about any player in the NFL. People need to be reminded that he came into this season with a new coordinator, a new tight end, a new number 2 receiver. We've seen that the Pollard upgrade is not quite what we thought it would be over Zeke. It's been an upgrade, but not what everybody thought. So it's taken him some time to get adjusted, and it doesn't surprise me. He's had his best 2 passing yardage totals the last 2 weeks as he's adjusted to this new offense, new weapons. In a slate this week with guys like Jaron Hall, Tyson Bagent, P.J. Walker, and Aiden O'Connell all playing, and that's just some of the names. I think Dak is the last near sure thing at QB this week, and both of the other ones, Lamar and Hurts, are considerably more expensive at over $1,500 on DK. The Cowboys have been opening it up from a passing perspective. That is why in consecutive weeks, again, he's had new totals for his passing yards through for 275 versus the Chargers, over 300 yards last week versus the Rams. And the Eagles, they do struggle versus the pass, especially when you spread them out in 3 receiver sets, which we've seen the Cowboys run more recently. I know the Eagles just added Kevin Byard, but it's only his second game with Philly. Their corners are kind of weak. And in Dak's only game versus Philly last year, he threw for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns in what was a shootout, great game, 40-34. I kind of expect a similar thing. So having said that, the last guy is Brandon Cooks, 4,400 at Philly. He scored a touchdown in 2 straight, 14 points or more in both of those games. The big thing is he's seen 4 more targets in every game he's played this season, and the Eagles are allowing 26 targets and over 16 receptions to opposing wide receivers on the season. CeeDee Lamb is obviously a very good play this week as well, and they're allowing over 1.5 touchdowns per to opposing wide receivers. The last 2 weeks, the number 2 wide receiver versus the Eagle has caught 14 passes for 170 yards and a score. And that kind of brings me to my big advice for this week, is to be really careful who you use with all these weak QBs playing this week. Sure. I would make sure that you go with quarterbacks and wide receivers who you know what you can expect from. Like, yes, I mean, Marquise Brown's a great price. He's got a great matchup. He destroys man defenses, but I've never even heard of his quarterback, and I do this for a living. It's really risky, and that's why I am personally probably only going to enter about half the number of dollar entries this week on DK as I normally would, because I think it's going to be a real crapshoot. I'd be very careful making bets this week, too, because nobody knows what's going to happen. I just think you're going to see a lot of bad QB play. And finally, use the defenses on DK to your advantage. Like my favorite one this week, the New York Giants. They're $2,300, and they're playing Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders. And O'Connell made the Chargers defense look good in his only other start, which we know they are not a good defense. You can find a good defense this week that may not look like a great matchup because, remember, they're playing a quarterback you've never heard of making either his first couple of starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to talk. That was one of my topics today. Was talking about some of the crazy, bad rookie struggling quarterbacks in these matchups this week coming up. Getting back to Dak, the last 5 matchups, and I'm not a big Cowboys guy, but the last 5 matchups with Dallas and Philadelphia, Dallas won last year, as Keith said, 40-34. They lost in the previous matchup last year, 26-17. But then earlier in the play, that must have been the playoffs.
That didn't play in that game, though.
Okay.
Remember that one, and Hurts didn't play, in fairness, in the 40-34. Minshew
that's
played
right.
in that
Minshew was
game,
out on that one.
Whatever the Cowboys back up, that played the first 6 weeks, played in their first loss.
And then back in January of 22, they won 51-26. September of 21, 41-21. And then the 5th and final last 5 matchup was in December of 20, 37-17. So although the Eagles are one of the hottest, the best record team in the NFL right now, Dallas has won 4 out of the last 5 matchups. And as you guys always tell me, trends matter. So,
are you an Eagles fan?
They really do.
I hate both teams so much. Right. So it's so hard.
He needs the Eagles to lose, though.
I do need the Eagles to lose because of the NFC standings. No one wants to play in Lincoln Financial Field in the NFC Championship.
No, they do not.
That's a tough place to
I think the Braves found that out. You do not want to be on the road in Philly in a must-win situation.
Absolutely. So, yes, I will certainly be rooting for the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. There is no doubt. Anything else real quick, Keith, you want to talk about? We're about done with this segment.
Just that I can't believe it's already week 9 of the NFL season.
It's about
when I
halfway
start
over.
to get a little depressed because it won't be too long if football's over. But the text you sent me this morning about the golf deal is just, this is going to be seriously one of the most fascinating documentaries in 5-10 years ever because, what the heck has been going on?
Just
how can you just have your pants down, right? You keep flip-flopping. And it's just I don't understand the decision-making behind it. Because I actually got to the point where it's it makes sense. Let's just make it all one big party. Everybody sold out. And now I'm very curious to see what this was, if this was pressure from, I don't know, Washington, a political deal, or what is the issue with them backing out of this? But why in the world would you put yourself through the PR nightmare that they did to then just end up, again, flip-flopping?
Yeah, absolutely, and it never even come into fruition. And what happens if some of these guys decide to move to that live tour? And
John Rahm backing out of the Rory and Tiger, deal is, to me, very interesting.
Yes.
To me, that might be a sign he's leaving for live, which was a rumor now for almost a year.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of still to figure out in that whole saga, but we love to talk about it, that's for sure. Keith, we appreciate your time, and glad we got you on this week. Glad you're feeling better, and
me too.
Enjoy the weekend of sports. Enjoy your Georgia-Missouri game. I don't think that's going to be much of a game for the Missouri Tigers, but you got to play the game, so we'll see what happens. That's Keith Fleming. You can follow him at Keith Fleming on X, and he's on Fantasy Six Packs, articles all over the place, lots of great expertise, and we appreciate him being a part of the Inside Drive. When we get back, Jay, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. You're listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's a college football triple header. First, Kansas State at Texas, kickoff at 11, followed by Auburn at Vanderbilt at 3. Then, it's the LSU Tigers versus the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coverage starts at 6:45 on your home for the most live college football on the Gulf Coast. ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. You and Sailor are going to be rocking out to this song while you're driving around in your truck.
Yes. The Christmas music. Christmas music. Is Christmas
Is this
music?
Christmas music?
No, I want Christmas music. You're not already listening to Christmas music, Ryan?
No.
Is that already?
Although my wife is decorating the new house for Christmas, and she's excited about that.
I got you.
So.
I got you.
But yeah, no, you and Sailor driving around looking for some you-know-what.
Dog treats?
Yes.
Yes.
Dog treats.
Yeah.
That is for sure. Good to have Keith Fleming back on the line. Jay, you know what's coming up on December 2nd?
We've talked about it
multiple times. They are a sponsor this month for the show. You've slept.
I have slept, so I don't know.
It has to do with what was invented in 1748 when someone tried to walk twice, running.
I like that. Walk twice. 1748.
That's been something circulating on the internet. Like there's this thing that in 1748, that's when running was invented because someone tried to walk twice.
Double down on the walking.
I don't know.
Run.
All right, so there is a marathon happening.
Correct. The PCB Marathon, the Daybreak 76 Panama City Beach Marathon, sponsored by Visit Panama City Beach and hosted by the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce. Again, that's December 2nd. It's a 26.2-mile marathon, half marathon, 5K, and a kids fun run. It's also a Boston Marathon qualifier. You can head over to PCBmarathon.com to check out all the information, and you can register right there. And if you want to save 10%, you can use code ESPNRUN to receive 10% off that registration there for the PCB Marathon.
There you go.
I know you're looking forward to that one.
I am.
There's another big event coming up this weekend. That's the Ironman.
I know. I saw that.
A lot of excitement.
110 miles of biking. That sounds crazy.
How many you do? Couple?
Wait, and my mountain bike. I may do 5 if that's that's a big day for me. Yeah, I go night really quick when that happens.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Makes it sleeping easy, that's for sure. You know, Keith was talking a little bit about it in that last segment, going over all that DFS action, but kind of a crazy NFL Sunday coming up with some of these matchups. We'll get into our picks later on. Don't forget, we got Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports coming up at 12:20. But here are some of the quarterback matchups. A lot of injuries. Quarterbacks have been benched, and there's a lot of rookies playing out there, so there's been quite a bit of struggle going on. But you've got Jaron Hall versus Taylor Heineke.
Who that is?
Well, you know who Taylor Heineke is, right? I don't really know who Jaron Hall is either.
He is out of BYU.
Oh, that's right. Brigham Young. In Provo. Not Salt Lake.
Right.
But yes, Taylor Heineke's been around for a while, and, he actually, he does pretty decent. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Falcons in that one. You've also got Clayton Tune versus P.J. Walker. David knows where Clayton Tune played off the top of his head.
Houston.
The Cougars. They're matching up against. You got Brett Ripon versus Jordan Love, Sam Howell versus Matt Jones, and Daniel Jones versus Aiden O'Connell, all on one day.
Well, since we talked about Houston, what do y'all think about the Titans, or the NFL rather, not the Titans, telling them to cease and desist using those uniforms?
I think it's kind of silly.
I think it is too, because here's my thing, all right? It's the Love Ya Blue color pattern, and it's very similar, but we can go back and look to a lot of colors of uniforms.
They don't own the colors, right?
If I was Houston, I would make minimal changes to it as far as the stripes and stuff goes, but I would continue to use those uniforms, because it's first off, I don't think that they were selling these uniforms, so they're not profiting off of them. It's more or less a remembrance, and people in Houston still hold those colors dear, so let them use it. Like the Texans, that franchise is not the Oilers, right? So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But the city still has fond memories of that. So let them wear it, dude, especially if they're not making money off of it and stuff, which more than likely, who knows if they were or not.
Yeah.
But if you're the NFL, how many high schools out here are using logos of yours?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Chase High School.
Yeah, we look like the Green Bay Packers.
And the Green Bay Packers look like?
Griffin High School.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Or Grambling.
Yeah, Grambling as well. Yeah.
Nobody's saying anything to Griffin.
No, not at all.
They're like, get your SAT scores up, bro.
Hopefully they're up now.
Yeah, I hope so. I have to dig a little deeper and see where we're at and all that.
Do some research.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But you do have a few good QB matchups as well. You've got Tua Tagovailoa against Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be the Germany game. Don't forget about that one, 8:30 our time. Jay Hanley, I almost called you David Hayes. I'm sorry, David, for almost calling.
No, that's a compliment.
No.
I'd be out there with Sailor just ZZ topping.
ZZ topping it.
That's it.
Did you get the reference yet?
I did.
Do you know what that song is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure, because sometimes I never know with you. Yeah. You also got Allen versus Burrow. That is that's just a regular. That's not a Sunday Night Football. Is Dak Prescott versus Jalen Hurts. So you do have some pretty exciting matchups, and I know that Germany game will be on right here on ESPN Northwest Florida at 8:30 Central Time. So scoring is down. We've talked about it before on the show, but the unders are certainly up, especially on primetime games. Some of those stats so far since last week: favorites improved to 77-42 on the season. They're 51-8 against the spread. That's a 54.1%. Home teams are 64-55 on neutral site, and with 64-55, and then on neutral site games 53-58-8 against the spread. I don't think that I said that right. Unders improved. This is the one I wanted to get to. Unders improved to 71-50-1. That's 58.7% of the time the under is hitting so far. It dipped from the week 7 to week 8. Primetime unders, this is crazy, 73.1% of the time the primetime unders are hitting, 19-7 on the
pressure getting to them?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe. Or it's been every year's wild, but just with the quarterback situations and the things happening this year, it seems a lot more volatile than it's been in years prior. That's for sure. Did you see your boy Ronald Acuna yesterday, Jay?
No, what happened to Ronald?
He was voted Player of the Year by his peers. Again, the MVP the National League and AL MVP stuff should be coming out here pretty soon. But he was unanimously voted the National League's Player of the Year by the players, by the fellow major leaguers there for the Major League Baseball Players Association.
Well deserved. I mean, he broke a lot of records this year. So
of course. And then obviously you know who got it on the American League side.
Who did?
I was asking you.
Oh, man. It has to be somebody from the Texas Rangers. No, are you serious?
Yes. Once you realize
was it Shohei Ohtani?
Yes.
Oh my God,
man, you're such a.
There's no laptop here. This is straight out of
I don't know if that makes a difference.
Right.
The only thing you're not representing that Georgia G on the back of your laptop today. That's for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously those are the two favorites there on the actual MVP races, not the players voted player of the year. But yeah.
They're going to be dropping that November 9th, 5 p.m. on MLB Network.
Ooh, nice.
That's when the award will be coming out. So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, we do have a caller on the line. John is on the line. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to hear you guys.
It's good to hear you. I hope you've got a good one for us, because I've used both of them at the regular.
Actually, I am sitting out front of the studio. I've swiped the bell a couple of times. I'm just waiting patiently. I have a gift for a little puppy dog.
Oh.
So whenever you guys get time, I'd like
as soon
you
as
to come out.
we hit this break, I'll have Jay come out and say hi.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And go Kansas City. And you guys, you aren't giving Missouri a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance. There's always a chance.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, my gosh.
It's a fighter's chance.
I just keep going back to last year's game. I'm like, oh, my gosh. We were so close.
If it was a away game for Georgia, I'd feel more like how last year went. But just coming down to Athens, they played good against Florida. They got ranked number 2 in the rankings, so they got that little edge to play with. I just think it sets up.
I think it needed to be earlier in the season. Missouri could surprise the world right here, but this is the time of the year. They are, but Georgia's got that switch that it's like, oh, if we win by 7, it doesn't matter. Like we're going to take over in the fourth quarter. But Missouri learning that lesson from LSU. If Brandon Cook doesn't, turn the ball over late, it could be fruitful for the Missouri Tigers.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited! I can't wait for the game. I'm looking very forward to it.
Definitely. A lot of big games coming up this weekend on the with SEC East and West implications. What do you think when we got you on the line about the Alabama LSU game?
I honestly think that Alabama's going to win it, but it's going to be very close. My heart is with LSU, but I would, if I was a wagering man, I'd have to go with Alabama.
And why do you think that?
Because it's mid-season, I think they're hopefully they're learning from all their mistakes.
They're trending in the right direction.
And when I say that, I'm talking about Alabama.
Yeah.
I think Nick will have them ready, and this is a game it's kind of like what they were talking about the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Can you lose this game?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's not going to be good if Alabama doesn't win this game.
Well, if Alabama doesn't win it, then LSU's certainly in the driver's seat. That's for sure, with the win over Ole Miss, and Ole Miss still has to play Georgia.
And the way the season's going to play out, like you guys said earlier, it was really the beginning of the season's going to start this weekend. We could have 2 team losses that are fighting to get into the big game.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's the parity is certainly, once you hit November, that's almost, not that the other 2 months aren't real, but you know what I mean. The season kind of starts now. The college football playoff rankings are out. The big games are coming up. There's 4 weeks left in the regular season, and then championship. That's just wow. There's only 4 weeks left in the regular season.
Do you have those stats in front of you that I heard that there were 60 different quarterbacks that have thrown a pass this year in NFL?
60? Whew.
60. That makes no sense to me. How can that be?
Let me check that, yeah.
I'd heard that. I want to say it was on the show before you guys got on the air, and I want to say I think one of the commentators made that comment. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me.
Well, that's almost.
I'm trying to add and divide.
No, I like it.
it's probably close, but man, that is a crazy stat.
Because even like I'll use the Niners for an example. Like when they played against the Cowboys, Sam Darnold came in for a little bit at the end, so he did throw a pass. Hey, John, we got our break coming up. We're going to come out and meet you here in the break, and Jay's on his way right now. We appreciate you giving a call. Maybe we'll get a joke from you while we're out there and be able to tell it on the air.
I'm trying to find a clean one.
It's hard. Dirty jokes are the best jokes. We appreciate you calling, John. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back with the top of the hour.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
I'm done with James Harden. He's been traded to the Clippers now. What's the over-under on the time that he decides he's frustrated with them? It's always something. You are so much better to be rid of that guy. Infinitely more trouble than he is worth. He is 100% addition by subtraction. Just let me know when that's all over.
Greeny. Weekdays on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Sunny this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the northeast at 14 miles per hour and temps near 73. We will have clear skies and a wind speed of 7 miles per hour tonight and be warm at 56. And sunny tomorrow and a high 77 with a gentle breeze. Sunshine Sunday with a temp of 75. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia today and test drive a new Kia and see why everyone is talking about Kia. The new SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, and the Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a brand new 2023 Kia Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new vehicle at Bill Bird Kia for you and your family. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the original home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City today, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer. Bill Bird Kia, 15th Street, Panama City.
Your home to the NFL. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue? Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Listening live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, and along the Forgotten Coast. You can watch us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. We appreciate Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor for being our studio sponsor since day one, which we're a little over 6 months now. You can check them out at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. Just look for the big American flag right across the street. All those beautiful new the Sierras are $10,000 off those brand new trucks. Lots of new vehicles in stock. Trade values super high. They do sell tires at cost, and if you need some service done, go check them out. If you need a boat, you want to sell a boat, want to buy a boat, need a boat fixed, need a boat picked up and brought to the dealership, Kramer Marine and Outdoor can do that for you. They just started offering their mobile service. Well, they'll come out to you and get your boat back out on the water, as Mr. Chris says. And they got Yamaha Master certified mechanics on staff selling Seabourn, Spider, Sundance, and Skeeter boats. And they also will sell your boat for you if you don't want to deal with the hassle of negotiations, people showing up, not showing up. Kramer Marine and Outdoor will take care of all that for you. Again, right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. You can visit all their new and used boat inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. Yep. Oh, yes. Thank you, David. Don't forget, too, speaking of Kramer GM, they are sponsoring the, what did I call it? I got it right here. the Bill Kramer GM and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Fall Football Finale, because that is the last week of the regular season. Ricky Barnes was our trivia winner from yesterday. Jay, do you remember what that question was?
Ricky Barnes, he was a professional golfer.
He was.
Or still is. Ricky Barnes.
Yeah, Wilson Staff.
Yeah.
But that's not what I asked
I'm sorry.
you.
Yeah. But the alligators, let's see, they were either American, Chinese, or Australian?
Yeah, well, there was two types. And
okay.
we asked, one is American. We asked what the other one was, Australian, Chinese, or Canadian, and it took 3 callers. But Ricky Barnes won with the Chinese alligator, only 150 of them in the wild. But we're going to be doing another trivia question on the 6th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 11th. We'll have 5 winners, and all of those winners, maybe we'll give them a range ball basket or bag out there at Bay Point as well. But then on the 16th, we'll be right there at Kramer GM, and we'll be giving away those 2 pair of tickets to one of those 5 finalists. So make sure you tune in on the days we're doing those trivia questions. We're going to give away those, do the trivia question at 12:40 on those shows, and it's all going to be related to alligator questions because we're giving away 2 tickets to the UF, the Florida Gators, and the Florida State Seminoles.
Down in the swamp.
Down in the swamp in Gainesville.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just head down with the Mosley Dolphins and then stay for a couple weeks, and you'll be ready for that game as well if you want a couple tickets.
Is Gainesville still considered North Florida, or is that Central Florida?
You're asking the wrong guy.
All right. Just thought I'd
ask David. He's lived in different parts of Florida.
I don't know. It's just...
What do you think?
I say it's North Florida because it's not that far from here. I mean,
I'm
really
going to say
isn't.
Central.
You're saying Central?
Yeah.
I got you.
I would consider it. I would consider it Central Florida just because that's how I look at it. But I think a lot of people would consider it North Florida. as well.
Which section of the PGA is it in? The North Florida PGA section or the South Florida PGA section?
Okay, so that we could define
because we're
it
part of the Alabama Northwest Florida PGA section.
Let's say North Florida.
What if we call it North Central Florida?
Ooh.
There you go.
Central North.
The NC.
Like your North-Northwest type winds.
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
You got to watch out for those. He learned that from Joanna.
Yep. She's a wealth of information.
She is, man. She's got it all. It's like she's a computer or something. She knows it all.
That high pressure, though, man, is staying above us for the next, 7-8 days?
It's no rain in sight. Beautiful weather. Make sure you are not doing any kind of burning. It is windy. It is dry. All that good stuff. I got a text message notification from Bay Alert.
I got the phone call.
Oh, yeah. Phone call, text, email, all that good stuff. Don't even let a spark drop out there.
But you can still grill. You can still charcoal grill. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
No fireworks and other stuff like that. I think it was 2 years ago or so, but we were right there in that evacuation zone for the fire that was kind of over there by Transmitter. That was a wild situation as well. And then they kind of just kept spreading to different areas. So, yeah, be very vigilant on, anything that you're doing with something that could be combustible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what combustible means.
I do.
Good. All right, we'll skip over that. We talked about the quarterbacks earlier, and David, you told me in the break, Deshaun Watson is now scheduled to start. P.J. Walker started the last 2 games for the Cleveland Browns and beat the Niners, and he's 2-0 as a starter.
Yeah.
And now he's getting benched. Not benched, but I guess Deshaun's back. Do you think Deshaun will be on a short leash if he's not looking good in this game?
Paid him too much money, $230 million fully guaranteed. That's the only thing that stinks is these days it's we got to go with how much money we spent. It's like this. You go into the grocery store and you buy 2 different types of hams. One of them cost you $40 for 16 ounces or whatever. One of them cost you $5 for 16 ounces. But you really like the $5 ham better than you like the $40 ham.
But you spent $40 on the ham, so you got to eat the $40 ham.
You do got to eat it, but which one are you going to eat more? The one you like better. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
But but in the NFL, and I get it, it's business, totally different than eating. And
it's a beautiful analogy.
But come on, man, give your team the best opportunity to win.
Case in point, why owners and GMs don't want to do fully guaranteed contracts.
Boom.
Same thing with head coaches.
And Deshaun Watson has ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
If they were thinking that was going to go that direction, well, here's your let's try it out. Like, and the other 31 owners are like, why are we? Don't do this. Well, we're going to do it. We want to be the Browns. We want to finally get that coveted Super Bowl, and we believe Deshaun Watson is our opportunity to do that. And it's been a dud to this point. Yes, there's still time and all of that good stuff, but I've never thought much of Deshaun Watson as the quarterback outside of Clemson. He did some good things with Houston. His record as a starter was 28-26. Now, some of that is muffled because through the years 4 and 5 with the Texans started going downhill. But my man, Deshaun Watson, this is what people need to know right here, right? Is that Deshaun Watson saw the writing on the wall. J.J. Watt's out. DeAndre Hopkins gets traded, or DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Cardinals, and you signed that contract extension with the Houston Texans after they're basically blowing it up.
Yep.
You did that,
His
and now
agent did terrible job.
Exactly.
But then he got a massive contract.
Okay,
after,
good for him, but do something with it.
Yeah, don't guarantee. That's why they don't guarantee. That's why they don't want to guarantee it.
Yeah.
And I get it if players hold out because of it, but if Deshaun Watson would have held out, do you think? He wasn't held. He was traded or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's free agency. Do you think some of these guys, it would impact their actual football team? They're 4-3 right now. They're sitting in the 7th playoff spot in the AFC.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, no, I was just going to say, all of this is stock market stuff, right? Think about it.
Stock up, stock down.
Yeah, your value. Your stock market, all that money that you have doesn't exist, right? Like it doesn't exist. And all this money that they're promising these guys, that contract, that doesn't exist. It does exist whenever it becomes in your hands, but why do we... Man, I could be saying things off the wall here, but why don't we pay them weekly or like everybody else in America?
It's funny that you say that because that's actually how their contracts work.
They are played out like that.
They get game checks every week.
Oh,
but most contracts aren't fully guaranteed.
Well, what sounds they're not fully guaranteed because you can miss or whatever. You miss a game, you're not going to be getting that game check depending on, say that you got to go. Anyways, what looks better, talking about $36,000 a week or $500?
Yeah.
And let me say this: I'm an hourly employee, not a salary employee, right? And so take it to a yearly salary type deal. And let's say Randy pays me for the full year up front. Or let's say someone who's doing golf lessons with you pays you for the full year up front. There's going to be times where you've already got the money. So why are you going to work as hard to earn something that you've already been given? So the same way with this fully guaranteed, Deshaun Watson can go get as many, and I'm not saying he's doing that anything, but he can go get as many massages as he wants and not worry about the playbook. Because guess what? I've already got it. I don't got to work for I don't got to earn what I need.
It's human nature, man. It's human nature, and I'll say it. If I had somebody for a year, many less as they want to, whatever it may be, and I had the sniffles on the couch, guess what? I may be texting that person, be like, you know what? Not feeling all that great.
We'll make it up. We'll make it up, but never make it up.
Right. It's human nature, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
On the flip side of that, before we get to our picks, it would take a person, but because your contract is fully guaranteed and you have that stability, you can play a little more free, knowing if you make mistakes, etc., and they decide to get rid of you, they still got to pay you that whole contract. If it's all, if it's fully guaranteed, like what just happened with Josh McDaniels, he had a fully guaranteed coaching contract. They're going to be paying him for the next 4 years. Mm-hmm. That baffles my mind.
I don't get it.
Because why? Why did you need to guarantee Josh McDaniels' contract?
Right.
He's 9-13 as a head coach or something like that. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. I just think that there should be a percentage of it guaranteed because when you sign that contract, if it's not guaranteed and then the team cuts you or whatever, that's your livelihood at that point. So a percentage of it guaranteed and then the rest of it incentivized.
Yep.
Oh, you got 100 yards? Boom, here's an extra, I'm going to say 1,000, but that don't. You know what I mean? You got 100 yards, here's 10,000.
Well, that's sales. That's how you get good employees, too, is you incentivize them. Mm-hmm. The harder they work, the more they make. Unless that person doesn't have drive, then you fire him. But
he wouldn't be on the inside drive, I tell you that much.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you inflate a balloon, right, it's going to pop at some point. At some point, it's got to pop. I mean, at some point.
Unless it's helium, I guess. It just goes, woo.
It just float, yeah.
It probably still pops up there, though, huh?
Once it hits a certain layer of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
The troposphere, the ionosphere, the stratosphere, and the mesosphere. Those are the 4 layers of the atmosphere, Jay.
Do you remember as a kid having balloons for your birthday or something, and then I totally remember having a total meltdown at 5 years old because a balloon got out of the house and it went bye-bye.
Were you more concerned about you not having the balloon anymore, or were you more concerned about if a goose was going to get that around its neck?
Just seeing the balloon just...
Your hopes and dreams just going off into the air?
Total meltdown.
I was always excited about that because I had globophobia.
He's afraid of balloons.
Is that what globophobia is?
Yeah, I just looked that up, like what balloon phobia was, because we talked about that last week. Sometime I had a whole segment on phobias.
Which is a good segment, by the way.
You're probably like clowns go along with that, I'm sure, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh. I can't even watch Stephen King's It.
Audiobooks. That's the way to go.
Stephen King is doing a movie in Bay County. Did you see that? I saw that random. I don't know.
I'm going to need more information.
That's
than
all I
just
know.
You throw
I'm
in
sorry.
that one line out.
There's
I
a
need
Stephen
context.
King.
I need to know where. I need to know what this movie's about.
It's scary, I'm sure.
Typically,
yeah.
I think it's in Mobile, Bay Minette.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close.
And that's how rumors start.
Yeah.
But no, you did see that on our, not our, but mypanhandle.com.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that's where
And along the Gulf Coast, though, so it could end up in here.
Are you in the movie?
I don't know.
You should be.
Yeah.
You're a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
It's based on Stephen King's book, Life of Chuck. It's about a man discussing his life after suffering from a brain tumor, and he finds himself in his childhood haunted house.
Whew.
Ooh.
That's
spooky.
Hey.
We need to add that to the contest next year, depending on when the movie comes out. It's going to do our picks, but I only got about 7 minutes before we talk to Aaron. Let's do the college ones, and then we'll kick the NFL ones to the 1240 segment. How's that sound? That way we can talk about them a little bit.
Okay.
All right. First one, there's some good ones in college, but I started with this one. It's an early game. They're both ranked. Let me pull up the spreads and over-under real quick, Jay, so you got a little more context. But it's going to be Kansas State at Texas.
Ooh.
Currently, Texas is -4, over under 49.5. Kansas State 6-2, ranked 23rd in the college football playoff. Texas got one loss there to Oklahoma, still hanging in at number 7 in the college football playoff bowl. What do you think?
Texas is trying to get into that top 5, and I think they really have to play a good game here and beat Kansas State. I'm going Texas at home totally, 100%.
They definitely, I mean, they have to win in order to have any outside shot at that college football playoff because they need to be playing in the Big 12 championship. David Hayes, what do you think?
Quinn Ewers not going to be playing, right? This is going to be a Malik Murphy game.
Yeah, Malik Murphy, for sure.
And they did end up pulling away last week.
And I think that's why the spread's only 4. Kansas State's got a good program, but
they do. They got Trayshawn Ward over there as well. There's a large side. You know what? Kansas State.
Kansas State for the upset.
Give me the upset.
I like it.
Oh, wow.
I like it. I want to pick Kansas State, but now because now I'm being influenced by our score and our leaderboard, I'm gonna take Texas just because I think the upset is gonna happen, but Texas needs this one, that is for sure, to maintain their college football playoffs. I almost forgot to put them in there. All right, Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Mississippi is 10th on the college football playoff, 7-1, with that one lone SEC one loss coming to Alabama, right? Yes, to Alabama. They beat LSU, but they still have to play Georgia, so that SEC West dreams really aren't very lively. But Texas A&M 5-3, they are traveling over there to Oxford. Ole Miss -3 right now. Jay, what do you think?
Hey, like Oxford, Ole Miss. I got to go Ole Miss. Jimbo could be on the hot seat.
Oh, he is on the hot seat. David Hayes.
Now, Bobby Petrino is going to end up being on the hot seat because that's going to be what the scapegoat of this whole thing is.
That's why he brought over Bobby. Not because he wanted help or Bobby was going to take over because...
Well, there's a hope of that. That's your initial hope. But then you can be like, No, that's on Bobby Petrino. Give me one more year here. Plus, that buyout is still egregious.
Stupid.
Give me Ole Miss here, top 10 team in the nation. I think that it's going to be a little closer for that first half, maybe halfway through the third quarter. But then Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, that offense, Quinshon Judkins going to pull away here. So I like them to cover that 3.
Agreed. I got Ole Miss in this one. I think Texas A&M hangs in there for a little bit, but Texas A&M's defense is good. But Ole Miss's offense is way better than Texas A&M's offense, and I think it's a high. I would take the over in this one, that's for sure. And I think Ole Miss gets it done just to keep it interesting. Next, Dabo is coaching for his life, so to speak. Clemson 4-4, hosting the 7-2, number 15th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Clemson is a home underdog, probably for the first time in a long time. What do you think, David Hayes?
Me and Kyle were actually talking, of course, on those 2-hour drives. We talk a lot about football, among other things, but he brought up a good point. This might be the best Notre Dame team that we've seen in a long time. That 4-game stretch of Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, USC, and to go 2-2 in that, very impressive. Dabo, the whole thing circulating around this, like, he honestly needs to win this game, but I cannot pick the upset right here. I've got Notre Dame winning this game.
Jay?
I've got to kind of go with David on that. I think there's trouble in paradise up in Clemson. I keep seeing a lot of Dabo stuff, and he doesn't know what's going on.
Paradise for cows.
Yeah, well, where? In Clemson? Yeah.
You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Nice. Big campus. Very spread out. I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers in this one. I think Dabo has to have this win. Notre Dame, they probably have more talent on the field than Clemson, that's for sure. But he's coaching. He's going to do what it takes to win this game, I think. So I'm going to take Clemson in this one. Last college game before we hit our break is a big one over there in the Pac-12, and that is Washington heading down to the Coliseum, going against those USC Trojans. Jay, we'll start with you. USC is another home dog, 3-point home dog against the 8-0 Washington Huskies, sitting just outside of that top 4 in the playoff at number 5. USC hanging out at 20. They've won their last couple games, but just barely because their defense is absolutely garbage.
Let's go Washington here. I don't know too much about the two. Don't have a dog in the fight, but
there is a dog in the fight, though.
Is there?
There's a husky.
Oh, yeah. Is that not the cat? Yeah, that is. That's a beautiful dog.
It is. Not to be confused with the Alaskan Malamute.
Yeah.
Which is a similar mushing skunk.
Yeah.
See? We're on a wavelength. And I'm not even looking at him.
No, you're not. But the Husky's eyes, man, they're just...
you get the one with the blue and the yellow. Yep.
Yeah. But I'm going Huskies.
There you go. What do you think, David?
Man, there's some good games in the Pac-12 this week. UCLA, Arizona, Oregon State, Colorado, Washington, USC. Give me Michael Penix Jr. and the Huskies by 17.
By 17, Jay Henley.
Woo! That defense is going to get ran through, son. The only thing that's helping USC here is that they're at the house. Caleb Williams is going to be able to fight for a little bit, but if Cal's putting up 49 on you, golly.
Yeah. Man, I want to take USC in this one.
Do it.
I know. I want to, just because... But I'm becoming less of a fan of Caleb Williams every week, just with all the crazy stuff that him and his dad say and all that. And I'm like, is this guy really all in for his football season this year? That's where I get a little bit nervous.
Give him a little bit of grace in the sense of go back to the NBA, LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
And those kids aren't, like, they're not the embodiment of what their dad's saying.
That's true.
And maybe Mr. Williams is just trying to be a good dad and put his son in the best position, because look at what LeVar did for his 3 sons.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still going to take the Trojans in this one. I think Caleb is maybe realizes he's got to make some stuff happen and just balls out, and USC wins a barn burner. Let's call it 55-54.
Balls out.
There you go.
Back-to-back
1-point wins. This time not on a failed 2-point conversion.
There you go.
And with that being said, we'll jump into our... Oh, no, we got one more college pick, but we'll kick that to the last one. Coming up next...
We got
Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards over there in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza coming up next, and hopefully our phones will work for him this week, because I'm not leaving. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is your touchdown headquarters for the Mosley Dolphins and the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
Plus, premier college and NFL games.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Your source for the most live football on the Gulf Coast in a rich audio experience.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. Sunny the rest of the day with a wind out of the northeast around 14 miles per hour and 73. Tonight, look for a light breeze out of the east-northeast and clear skies with a temperature near 56. Tomorrow, high around 77 and sunny with a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, hot with a high of 75 and sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The sounds of is everywhere, and the cooler weather is back a little now and then. So that means it's time for a trip to That Boot Store to outfit the whole family in their favorite Western wear for that colder weather on the way. And if you need quality work clothes, check out the large selection of Carhartt work clothes, boots, and shoes available at That Boot Store, open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30, next to Bill Bird Kia, 15th Street in Panama City. Remember, God is good all the time.
It's time to pick your path and go big and go bold from Bill Bird Kia. You can drive away in a brand new 2024 Telluride from Bill Bird Kia. The 2024 Telluride protects what matters, and it's built for the long haul. Its technology will connect with confidence, and its upscale, all-around rugged look will take you on to the next adventure. The road is yours. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or BillBirdKia.com.
You hear it first. Sports Talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. This is officially now part of driving to sports games.
Hey, it'll get you pumped up.
Yeah. Disney's week.
Yeah.
Spaghetti on the sweater already.
Spaghetti?
Yeah.
You?
No. My gosh. Anyway.
Mom's spaghetti, bro.
Mom's spaghetti. Because he's nervous.
I got
But he looks calm and ready.
That's it.
And you know who always looks calm and ready to sell something? That is Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards. Sorry we missed you last week, Aaron, but excited to have you back on the line today. How are you doing?
Good. How's it going over there?
Oh, it's going good. It's Friday here in the ESPN Northwest Florida studio, so that means there's a lot of football coming up. But you guys got a lot of stuff going on down there at the store. I've been watching you guys on Facebook, and a lot of new cool stuff coming in. And tonight's also a very special day for Bowman cards, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, today is release date for Bowman Sterling Baseball, which is kind of sort of a mid to high-end product in baseball. It's a great chance to get autographs on a lot of the new prospects. So it's a really fun product. They didn't make it for years, and then they finally brought it back just a couple of years ago. So 5 autos a box. That's not common with Topps.
Whew,
so,
5. There you go, Jay Henley. And Jay, you stopped by the You stopped by the store last Saturday, right?
I did. I met Aaron, and it was great to kind of see what he had in the store, and hung out with him for a few minutes. And I think at that point there was maybe a lady and a little girl show up with like a ton of baseball cards or something, that seemed at that time. Do you remember that, Aaron?
Yeah. I mean, we have people in all throughout the day bringing stuff in like that. But yeah.
That's cool, man. I enjoyed meeting you. I know we get to talk on the air a good bit, and it was cool coming and hanging out with you for a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah. Ryan, Jay said you were good for all the stuff that he picked up.
Yeah, there you go. Just add it to my tab. I did find I'm anxious to see when JSA is coming back out, because we've been purging our house, getting ready to move into a new one, and I didn't forget, but I didn't realize it was in this box in the attic. But I've got the signed Carolina Hurricanes hockey jersey from everybody on the 2005 Stanley Cup team, including Ron Francis, Ron Brendamore, and a couple others. So next time time JSA comes by, I got to come out and get that one certified because that's an awesome opportunity that you guys provide. I did see on your Facebook page as well last Friday. It's not just sports cards like we've talked about before. You had the new release alert for the Star Wars or the 2023 Topps Chrome Black Star Wars. 3 cards per box, including one encased autograph card spanning the entire Star Wars saga. Tell everybody a little bit about that because I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans in the area.
Yeah, yes, we do carry all the Star Wars products that come out. Topps has the license now for all of it. And it's really cool. You get cards showing all the various Star Wars shows and movies. The big thing you're after, obviously, is the autographs. You know, a lot of people, I think of the autographed sports cards as being a big deal. To be honest, sometimes the actor and celebrity autographs are even more valuable and more collectible than some of those. Particularly with Star Wars, you've got some great names in there who just don't do a lot of appearances. And their signatures are worth as much as just about anybody you can name in sports. I mean, like Samuel L. Jackson, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and then, of course, all the, Mark Hamill and then Harrison Ford and all that, when you can get those guys to sign for them.
Yes, I remember you telling us about that. That's for sure. You also got a release day for a couple other things, right? The Pokemon Paradox Rift, and you got another big Rip Night coming up this weekend.
We do, yeah. Pokemon Paradox Rift came out. It's a new set, just came out today. We have got the Elite Trainer boxes and packs on sale this weekend. Probably the by far cheapest prices you will see on those. And usually this Pokemon stuff, once it starts selling out, it goes up. So you won't see them at those kind of prices again. But right now we've got packs well below what you're going to see in retail stores. And then next Saturday, the 11th, we're going to have another Rip Night. For those of you who are here for the last ones, a lot of fun. We played a lot of games and some little pack wars and some trading and things like that. So we'll have some refreshments, and it goes from 4 to 8 on Saturday. It's just a really fun way to kind of get back to enjoying collecting.
Yes.
So, you can come in, like last time we did a little pack wars. People could buy in for $2 on a pack.
Man.
So made it very affordable, and we had some people pull some really nice stuff. One gentleman came and brought his daughter with him to kind of get in on it, and she pulled a couple of cards that were like $150 a piece just out of her $2 packs.
Aaron, I know
they had a lot of fun with it.
Getting real close. I guess I'm just in the holiday Christmas spirit. But in years past, have you done any Christmas specials or any of anything? I know, obviously cards are big stocking stuffers. Do you offer anything of that nature coming up in the next week?
Do. We do every year at Christmas. We do a lot of big sales leading up to Christmas, including, what I think they call it now, the Small Business Saturday or something, kind of the traditional Black Friday weekend.
Yeah,
we'll do that sort of thing. And, then all throughout leading up to Christmas, we'll have events and sales and things like that moving forward.
Jay, I like the 2022 NFL year.
Okay, you got you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, Aaron. So that'll encompass cards, memorabilia, Pokemon, all the non-sport stuff. So there'll be something there for everybody.
Cool.
Awesome stuff. I saw on the Facebook page, too, and I'm going to have to ask you to explain a little bit. Well, how does it kind of work? I see you getting in a little bit with the whatnot stuff going on and, like, breaks. How does all that work? Because I see that stuff, and I'm like, how do I get involved?
Yeah, so there are a lot of sites that do it. I'll just give you a brief rundown on whatnot. So it's basically a combination commerce and social media type of platform. You go on as a customer, make a profile, and I believe you can attach a credit card or PayPal, something like that, to it for purchases. And people will run box breaks or selling single cards. They sell all sorts of things: shoes, comic books, action figures, just about anything you'd want to collect on their Disney memorabilia, just on and on. And so it's done on video, and these are very short auctions. Usually, people are used to like an eBay auction where it runs for 7 days or something. These are like 30 seconds to 2 minutes, basically. And where that's great for breaks is if we have a product we want to sell, and say there are 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and we have 30 spots to sell, you don't have to worry about, 7 days from now checking back and seeing what's going on. That's 30 teams, 30 seconds apiece. And we run them, and at the end of 30 seconds, whoever's bid highest on that team, they get that team when we open the box up. So it's very quick. It's great for people who don't want to have to wait. And but like I said, we'll do single cards and all sorts of things, and then beyond cards, any kind of collectible you can think of, pretty much.
So, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was going to ask Aaron his opinion on this, because ever since Ryan has put his Brock Purdy jersey, with no oxygen.
This is where you want to go right now?
Yeah, I wanted to.
No oxygen.
Should he, since they are on a losing streak, should he let the Purdy jersey breathe a little bit? I'm asking a professional here.
I'm just glad to think someone else is sharing in the burden, because the day, 3 weeks ago, they lost that first game. About 2 hours before the game started, I purchased some Purdy cards off someone, and thinking that, hey, the guy hasn't lost yet, and, they weren't really expensive, but it's some nice little Purdy cards to have in the case. And they haven't won a game since then. So I was afraid it was just something I had done.
Now I feel better.
50-50
I thought, I'll split it with you. That's fair. I mean, he's still third in the league in QBR, and he's 13-3 as a regular season starter. So I think he's doing okay in a small sample size.
Should he let it breathe this weekend?
3 weeks.
It's not airtight. I didn't vacuum seal it in this frame.
I got you.
Well,
anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm glad we found out that Aaron had bought him 2 hours before the game.
There you
lost
go.
To the Browns when Jake Moody missed that field goal. Not that I'm still bitter. But getting back to Whatnot, so does Instant Replay have their own Whatnot store or whatever you want to call it?
We do, yes. Instant Replay PCFL.
Cool. I'm going to check that out for sure.
Panama City, Florida. Yeah. We used to be on there a lot. Since we moved, we haven't done it as much. I just really haven't had the time.
Yeah.
Our hours expanded when we moved, so I'm here at the store for 2 or 3 hours additionally, more than I used to be. And, it used to be we would close at 5 or 6 o'clock, grab a little something to eat, set it up, and then we do Whatnot from 7 or so until about midnight.
Whew.
And, now we close a little later and all that, and it's just, and there have been some changes with Whatnot and all that. It's a lot different than it was when it first started, but there are certainly other platforms out there to sell on. It's just with that one, as a seller, you've got some protection because it is a commerce platform. So what I hear about in this industry all the time, people selling on social media things, this guy on, Facebook or whatever ripped me off and all. It's like, well, they're not a commerce platform.
Yeah, so you're not really
They don't
protected.
have some of the same, some of the same protections and all that aren't necessarily built into all of those. So,
That's interesting.
Yeah, it can be fun. It's certainly fun to go watch. The cards on Whatnot, it's a totally different animal from anything else on there. And some of the guys selling the cards just really give it a bad name. There are a lot of scammers, or a lot of bad people out there, but then some of them are just sort of immature and obnoxious. And when I go and watch people sell in other categories like comic books, they're very professional and they act like adults. And, at the end of the day, I just want to buy the item.
Yeah.
I don't need the guy to make a fool of himself to try to get my business.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I had looked at it once, and you go in there and it gets a little overwhelming, and that's why I wanted to ask the question a little bit about that one.
Who's your oldest?
It does.
Aaron, I was going to ask you, who's your oldest customer there at Instant Replay? Do you have?
Ed.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Steve.
No. Literally, we do have customers from, small children to what you think of as the grandfather, great-grandfather. We have gentlemen coming in here who were collecting cards as kids, like in the 1950s. And who are still into it or have gotten back into it over the years. We have a lot of women who collect, who enjoy it, and it's not just a thing. We have some women who come in and shop with their husband or significant other, purchase one. We have women who collect totally on their own and very knowledgeable, very interested in what they're collecting. So it's a wide-ranging demographic of people.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, and that's what's so awesome about collecting as well is, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Old, young, new. you don't want to spend a lot. There's a lot of opportunities with all these breaks and stuff like that. There's so much more I've learned since we've been doing this with you on Fridays about the collecting and cards and memorabilia and all this.
And that was our generation, and I'm speaking for Ryan and David here, I guess, but I mean that was our generation. That's great memories I have as a kid, and that's something that as a future grandfather, I want to be able to for grandkids, I want to be able to give that back to them. I mean it was just great memories for me. So anyway,
sure, yeah. And it's, like I just went a few weeks ago and I did a horror convention down in Tampa. And with any group of collectors, whether they're sports fans or horror or sci-fi, comic book, whatever, it's just neat to watch people who have this shared interest. And no matter what else they've got going on or where they're from, who they are, they can kind of bond over that. And, certainly, boy, today it's just great to find anything that people can get along and agree on and find somebody else who maybe has been through some of the things they've been through or whatever and enjoy something together.
Yeah, absolutely. And the camaraderie and all that. And just, remind everybody, I know we get it every week, but Friday night, what do you got coming up tonight?
Yes, Friday night is Kids Night. We have the Instant Replay Kids Club every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. These kids show up. We do very affordable box breaks. We keep it below $10 for kids to get in, and we break multiple boxes with them. We make sure all the kids leave with stuff they can trade afterwards. We do discounts for kids, not only Friday night, but if they get their Instant Replay Kids Club membership card, they get discounts throughout the week as well. So it's a lot of fun. The kids they really enjoy it. And they get to pull some cards they may not have otherwise gotten to pull when they get to go buy in with everybody else.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
They enjoy it.
Great way to get introduced into collecting, that's for sure. Because it can get, depending on what you want to do, it can get expensive quick. And to be able to do it with other people, and that leads me into what you guys do every Saturday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and every Saturday we have in-store group breaks. Not limited just to adults, but the products sometimes are a little more expensive. Usually those buy-ins are $15 to $40, $50 maybe. They do some of the more expensive products. And they pull some really big cards as well, but two great groups, the kids and the adults. And some of the kids from Friday sometimes come on Saturday and get involved as well. And it's a really welcoming group. It's a great family atmosphere. We kind of try to, carefully weed out the folks that aren't adding to the fun. But it's a really good group, and they're good with kids. And we have a lot of new guys have shown up in the past month or so that are getting into the breaks and loving it and pulling some great cards they've never seen before. So a lot of fun to be had.
Before we let you go, because we haven't really talked to you in a couple weeks. Last week we I was out, the phone lines were all jumbled. What are some of the big pulls or some of the big time stuff that maybe come through the door in the last couple weeks?
Last couple of weeks, let's see, we had a 1-of-1 Brock Purdy autograph pulled here.
Man.
Which I know 3 weeks ago was probably, there was more ooh and all.
It'll be fine when they win the Super Bowl. You're good.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah, you can go 13-3 or whatever and still win. Yeah.
Dang, a 1-of-1?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yes, yeah, 1-of-1.
That's what I'm
We
looking
had
for.
Had a 1-of-1 Randy Moss autograph get pulled here.
Hall of Famer.
Just pretty cool. Had a really nice triple auto, the most 1980s card I've ever seen in my life. Triple auto of 3 icons: Magic Johnson, Hulk Hogan, and Joe Montana.
Oh man. All on one?
Yeah, all in one. You can't get more 1980s than that.
Yes. Man, that's epic.
No.
That is. And that's why it's kind of like, it's like trying to, buying a Powerball ticket, for this kind of stuff is, it's that opportunity of when you open that up, what's going to be inside. And, that's just so exciting.
It is.
But man, that's some cool stuff. Real quick, Aaron, tell everybody where you're located.
Yeah, 752 West 23rd Street. That is that's over here right next to Academy Sports, Sweet Frog Yogurt over in the Stanford Station, across from the Walmart Plaza. I know you guys know 23rd Street. It's huge.
Yes.
We're right here 7 days a week, 11 to 7, Monday through Friday, 10 to 7 Saturday, 12 to 5 on Sunday. Get us at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Absolutely. Easy to lose yourself in all those collectibles and sports cards over there at Instant Replay. We appreciate you very much, Aaron. We'll look forward to talking to you next Friday, and hopefully you got some big-time breaks coming up this weekend. We appreciate you as always.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
You guys take care.
Thank you, Aaron. Have a great weekend. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back with the last picks as we go into another football weekend.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line. Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia today and test drive a new Kia and see why everyone is talking about Kia. The new SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, and the Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a brand new 2023 Kia Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new vehicle at Bill Bird Kia for you and your family. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the original home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City today, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer. Bill Bird Kia, 15th Street, Panama City.
And now, the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk. Tell me what you know. You're out!
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Nothing better than opening up those boards, coming out of the locker room, hearing Machine Head blasting through the Menon Arena speakers, and doing that first lap on the ice, Jay Henley.
Yes, sir.
That is what it is all about. When you play high school sports or whatever, warm-ups are like the best. Because it's just so exciting. You know what's about to happen.
It is.
It's cool for Ryan yesterday, too. Like, the University Academy, they got some really cool warm-up shirts. They got their names on the back and all that. So it's like, I used to get excited about that, too. When we had hockey games, you got to wear your sweater at school. They get to wear their jerseys or stuff. So me and her share that same. It gets you fired up.
The breakaway pants back in the day
man.
for warm-ups.
The snaps. I'm pretty sure Chris Fall still wears those all the time. They're epic. Yeah.
Back in my day, it was just Russell Athletics. That's all. Anything Russell.
The breakaway pants were the best.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you were on the bench and you're getting called in, you're still wearing your warm-ups. Boom. And then you're out there and you're ready to ball.
That's right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And speaking of good stuff, I want to remind everybody again about the Bill Kramer GM and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Fall Football Finale. We've already had one of our finalists from yesterday. That's Ricky Barnes. He got the Gator trivia question correct. We're going to keep that going on the 6th, the 8th, the 9th, the 13th, and then we're going to do a giveaway from Kramer GM on the 16th. The show will be live right there. We'll announce the winner then and give away those tickets. But make sure you're listening. We're going to take the 5th caller at 12:40 on all of those days. When you call in, if you're the 5th caller and you answer that trivia question right, you're going to be one of 5 finalists to win a pair of tickets to go down to the Swamp. And if you've never been to the Swamp, whether you're a Gator fan, a Florida State fan, or just a college football fan, it's going to have to be a great experience, especially in that game.
Think about that trio. Turkey on Thursday, go shop your head off Friday, and then Gator football on Saturday. That's a trio. That's a 3-day weekend.
You might as well just change the turkey to a Gator.
Box the trifecta.
Yeah, That is a box trifecta. Right. Which we used to, I'm pretty sure the Breeders' Cup's going on this weekend, or pretty close to it. That's one of the bigger events in horse racing, Jay.
How does the winner end up getting picked, and how are we going to announce all
We're
that
going to
stuff?
announce the winner live on the air on the first segment of that show there on the 16th from Bill Kramer GM. And hopefully they're listening and come get those tickets and pick them up, because we want to come to the dealership and hang out with us and we want to hear about what they're looking forward to the most about going to that game.
Absolutely.
The more I think about that game, I mean, we've talked about when Chris Kramer's been in studio with us, just the atmosphere at a home game in the Swamp. But there's probably not a bigger atmosphere than Florida State, Florida, in the Swamp.
No.
So what a bucket list kind of opportunity to go to. And all you got to do is answer a trivia question about a gator.
That's it. That's plain and simple.
That's it. And listen to the Inside Drive, of course. This is just on the Inside Drive. Again, we appreciate Chris Kramer and Bill Kramer, GM, for letting us do this fun little contest to try to send somebody over there to Gainesville.
Yes.
Oh, and I'll if you want to leave me like the little cliff notes, I can promote it on the afternoon show as well.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Because this is, I mean, this, like you said, this is
It's
really
a huge
awesome.
game.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe we don't have any winners and we just go, Jay.
I'll be down.
I'm just kidding.
Can y'all put me in a suitcase or something?
Yes, we'll get you. We'll get you a gator costume.
There you go.
Sneak in there.
I'll go in there like Albert.
Yeah, Big Al. Yeah, don't go as Big Al.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in at that point.
Is the gator's name Albert?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
yeah.
Alabama's Big Al and the Florida Gator is Albert?
Yeah.
What's up with that? The Georgia Bulldogs. What's his name, Jay?
Ugga.
I know.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
It's like Ugga 12 or something at this point.
That's what happens. Life expectancy.
Bulldogs just do not live as long. From
It's
what I
any of the
gathered.
dogs that have the snuffy nose, for lack of a better term.
Parking car, chasing park car nose.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Chasing park car nose. But pugs, bulldogs, all those, it's something about them.
You don't got to worry about that. You got a long snout. Not you, but Sailor.
Yeah. Sailor doesn't have the. I like that. The running into parked car nose.
Yeah. Chasing park cars.
Chasing parked cars nose.
Yeah.
How do you chase a parked car?
Just those type of dogs.
Yeah.
If you got a long nose like I do, just chase a couple parked cars and there you go.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into.
But then your nose ends up looking like mine, with a big old hump on it.
You've got a cute nose.
Please don't ever say that again on the air. Have you seen it from the side?
That's crazy.
It's got a huge ski jump on it. I broke it like 5 times.
I was about to say, yeah, mine's been broke twice. So,
and I never went to a doctor and got it fixed.
when I went to
that sounds terrible.
One time was in baseball when I was younger, and then the next time was in softball. Ball hit like a little clay pebble, tipped off my glove, came up and just popped me in the nose, and I stayed and played. You know, they made me sit the first game. I'm like, guys, I'm fine. It's just a little bit of blood. Come on, we're good. And so I played the second game, and they were like, hey, you need to at least go to the doctor and get it checked out. I'm like, what are they gonna do? This ain't the first time that has happened. And I get to the doctor or get to the emergency room. She's like, yeah, there's not really much we can do. You're gonna have trouble for the rest of your life breathing out of both nostrils at the same time. Here's some pain medicine to help you get through this. All right, take care. I'm like, oh, good. This
$500
was
later.
phenomenal to come here and wait for 30 minutes to find out what I already knew. Thanks, guys.
And I think the only real thing they can do is like break it again and try to get it like reformed, because it's just cartilage.
And that's just aesthetics at that point.
You said I had a cute nose.
Do you snore? Do you snore, David? Do you snore?
I mean, I don't know. I know. I'll say this.
Jay, you strike me as a guy that does snore.
I don't know.
We'll ask Sailor.
When I was drinking, like, and I, like, yeah, I definitely
hard,
was, yeah. But I don't know if I snore outside of that.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I don't. I do. Oh man, too many times.
Yeah, because in our family we have a deviated septum.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
triple jinx.
yeah, and that's where
we
I
need
guess
to keep talking.
one nostril doesn't breathe as good as the other one. I guess.
I think it does have to do with that. Yeah.
With that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've persevered.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting. Well, the one doesn't sound as as the other one. So, yeah. You want to finish our picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What college football game do you think is the last one on our 5 college football game picks?
I think Colorado's gotten cold, so it's not Colorado.
It's not
right?
Colorado. And they're going to lose to the Beavs.
God, what's another big game this week?
And it's not Georgia, Missouri. I did not put Georgia, Missouri on here. The spread's 14 or 15, and I try not to go that big in spreads.
Did Troy beat South Alabama last
Yes,
night?
28-10, I believe. If I remember that off the top of my head. It's a spread of 3. The home team is the favorite. It has huge SEC West implications.
Alabama? No, we already did Alabama.
No, we did.
Oh, we didn't. Alabama and Ole Miss. Or who's Alabama playing?
Not Ole Miss, because we already...
LSU.
Thank you.
In Tuscaloosa.
Yep,
Yes.
in Tuscaloosa. Alabama is a 3-point favorite. 61.5 is the over-under. Alabama's currently ranked 8th in the college football playoff poll. LSU is 14th. LSU still has an outside shot of making the SEC West, but it ends if they don't beat Bama this Saturday. Bama, if they win this weekend, I don't want to say seals the deal because you never know what happens at Jordan-Hare Stadium, but I don't see Auburn winning that game. So Alabama is in the driver's seat when it comes to the SEC West, especially with Ole Miss still having to play Georgia. Jay, what do you think about this one?
You know, I will go with LSU because I want a little bit of spice in my life, and I would love to see LSU and Georgia in the SEC championship game.
That's because you'd rather win again.
No, I mean, Alabama's...
No, but that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see LSU win, so I'm rooting for the Tigers this weekend.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if Alabama wins this game, then they would have to lose to Kentucky and to Auburn because next in line would be Ole Miss. They've got the win there. So just like you hear at 8 o'clock every morning on the Coach James Hale Show, roll Tide, roll, baby.
Every day. Yeah. The Alabama updates brought to you by, I forget who it is now, but yeah, I'm going to go with Alabama as well. I think we've talked about Alabama and Jalen Milroe, and their offense seems to be finding their stride right here as the season, quote-unquote, gets going in the most crucial part of it. Jalen Milroe is able to keep up with LSU. LSU is the number 1 scoring offense in the league, but I think Alabama gets out to a lead and keeps going. Someone take Bama. So you got LSU, me and David got Bama. All right. We only got about 4 minutes. God, it goes by so fast.
I know.
It does.
So fast. Dolphins, Chiefs, Germany. Who you got?
Oh, let's go Dolphins. Mike McDaniel. You got to pick Mike McDaniel.
Did you see that video I sent in the group?
What?
When the people were talking about people dressing up as Mike McDaniel
yeah,
for
he
Halloween.
had little 9-year-olds
and
dressing
he's like,
up like him.
That's a lie. He said, there's no way people are dressing up as me as a coach, and they're showing him videos. He's like, nope, that's not real.
He is so phenomenal. He is such a character.
Yeah.
And you got to love him. You
didn't really see him come to life until he became a head coach.
Right.
Because he was the OC for the Niners.
Yep.
But he didn't. I'm sure behind the scenes, but he's not doing press conferences.
Well, he's gone through a bunch of teams, and then he went through the alcoholism, and he's
a great
straight.
story.
And oh man, what a great story!
Now he's coaching the Dolphins. Who you got, David?
Oh man, rooting for the Dolphins. Think the Chiefs win here. You know how it's been for the Dolphins this year when they go up against the lackluster teams. They win and they win big. When they go up against the good teams, they seem to have struggled. Rooting for the Dolphins. Think the Chiefs win.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins as well in this one. I think this is where the trend ends, and because it's in Germany, that's why the Dolphins get that one. Next, you got the Seahawks at the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a pretty big, heavy one as well.
Heavy favorite.
Yes. Ravens at home against the Seahawks.
I'm done. I'm going with the Ravens now that you said it.
David?
This one's tough for me. I would really like to see Lamar Jackson put up some good points. I'll go with the Ravens because they're at the house here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, regardless of, his play, I think they're still 6-2 and making some stuff happen on that one. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
6-point favor is kind of crazy, though.
That's what I was thinking too, especially because Seattle's been playing some good football here as of late. And, but I don't know. It's at home, and I think Lamar's kind of goes like this as far as the play, but they still win games, and I think they're on the up this week. So I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. Next, you got the Bucs at the Texans. 2 minutes left, Jay.
Bucs and the Texans. I mean, the Texans, I'm going with the Texans. Yeah, there you go.
Texans at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Texans, I'm going to also take the Texans because I think they're going to win.
Bucs are going to win then. We swept them out.
Yeah,
we
win. Did. If you're betting, bet on the Bucs. Colts at Panthers. Did this one because the spread's kind of close. Gardner Minshew versus Bryce Young.
I'll go. Is Carolina like 1-6 or something right now?
They're not great.
Yeah. I'll go Carolina. I think they'll try to get to 500 at some point.
They are 1-6. The Panthers are. Colts are a 2.5-point favorite. Bryce Young got his first win of his career last week, and it will not be his second this week, given the Colts.
There you go. I'm going to take that Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers at home up there in Charlotte. So I'm going to take Carolina as well. Last but not least, Cowboys at Eagles. I mentioned it earlier when we were on the line with Keith. Cowboys have won 4 out of the last 5, including a playoff game in there. What do you think, Jay?
I will get historical here, and I will say Cowboys win.
I like it.
Yep.
I will take the Eagles in this game. I think it's going to be close. I'm really looking forward to this game, but I think being at the house and the brotherly shove is going to prove to be the ultimate difference maker.
Yeah, I think it's on the road. I want the Cowboys to win, so I'm going to pick them in this one just to give that little extra rooting vibe there, that's for sure. But tough place to go play, and it's certainly a huge game for that NFC East, that is for sure. Eagles are 7-1, Cowboys are 6-2. Some long-term NFC implications on this one. I'd also rather see the Eagles lose, so that home field advantage gets a little bit closer to the Niners if they can start turning some things around, which I think they're going to, especially with the addition of Chase Young. Jay, anything you want to leave the people with before we go to the weekend?
Have a great weekend. That's all I can say.
Go play some golf, get a lesson, watch some football, support all of our sponsors. We appreciate y'all listening all week. It's been a lot of fun, and I believe we've been doing this thing for 6 months. But you are listening to the Inside Drive. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. Great football schedule on the docket here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Just listen and you'll find out. You're listening to the Inside Drive. Y'all have a great weekend.
Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app